In professional sports, a franchise player is an athlete who is not simply the best player on their team, but one that the team can build their franchise around for the foreseeable future.
Welcome into a brand new edition of Franchise Players here on TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com. Part of your TGI Friday lineup. You can hear it every Friday afternoon in the Triad, WWBG 1470 AM, starting at 3 o'clock on Fridays. You can hear Franchise Players at 5 o'clock on Fridays on WWBG. If you missed it, you can hear it in Winston on WTOB, 980 AM, 96.7 FM at 6 p.m. And, of course, online at TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com. Loaded show today. Got a lot to get to. Connor O'Neill from Deacons Illustrated and Devils Illustrated will join us to talk a little ACC hoops. We haven't had a chance to really do that the past couple of weeks. We're about to start conference play. A couple big games this weekend we'll preview for you, including talking a little bit about this Wake Forest team. They're actually a lot better than people thought they were going to be, maybe top 5 in ACC, so we'll get into that as well. And then also on today's show, I forgot who else I put besides we'll get to that in just a bit. But before we do all that, opening up the show, friend of the program, friend of the station, Jaelen Gilkey from WFMY, Sports Anchor. What's up, man? What's going on? I can talk to you in a minute.
What's up, Des, man? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a happy new year. Appreciate you having me back, buddy. I know you had me on hiatus.
No, Rundown's not on, so that's why I haven't really had you on. I don't think I was ducking you anything.
I'm just giving you a hard time, buddy.
Nah, so for those that are new, previously on the Rundown, like I haven't had Rundown on since the summer. I think we stopped in the NBA Finals, yeah. And then, to be honest, I had picked up so much stuff. It was like I couldn't do football Friday night and then that turnaround and do Rundown live. And I was like, let me just wait till football is over and kind of see where I am. And since then, I've picked up like 2 or 3 other podcasts and some other stuff. So I don't know if I'm doing Rundown. Yeah. So I don't know.
You're the man in high demand.
Yeah. Everybody wants to talk to the guy that's still the Panther fan. Because look, I gotta give Jaelen props because during the preseason, when everybody's 0-0 and there's roster moves and things of that sort, Jaelen, along with Skylar Callahan, my partner in crime from Believe in Panthers.
Shout out my buddy Skylar.
He was very specific that the Panthers were somewhat top heavy, didn't have a lot of depth. Jalen's main thing was, who's your number one wide receiver, and you just wasn't sold on Frank Wright, like really from the beginning. And lo and behold, my man made it 12 weeks before they had him up out of here. And it sounds like a lot of internal fighting going on between the coaches, and we've peeled back the onion since the last time I saw Jaelen with his Panther franchise, and it's very stinky. And I know you have to cover them. same as me and these other content creators. You have to actually just like your job. So let's talk about that first. What's this year been like having to cover this edition of the Carolina Panthers? Because although record-wise they're not going to finish as the worst Panther team of all time, I think we've all kind of got to the conclusion. Yeah, and that was a 9-7
in a tsunami 9-7 game, no touchdown for the Panthers
on a walk-off field goal
in front of 6,000 people.
And most of them weren't even our fans. Like probably about 50 of them were Panther fans. So I mean, just what runs through your head when you're like on the sidelines and you're kind of watching this go down? And do you fear for Bryce Young's life on the field? Like what are you thinking? Because you're a Ravens fan, so you're watching this from the outside in. Absolutely. And this is dysfunction that I mean, I've been with the team as a fan since the very beginning, '95, and they've had periods. This
is the worst it's ever.
This is the worst by far. So, what are your thoughts?
I think this would be like a low for a lot of franchises in the NFL. Honestly, just where the Panthers are at this point, lack of assets, owner that's a little bit rambunctious, to say in the best nicest way possible. He's a bit rambunctious.
My man just don't be told no. We'll get to Tepper.
We'll get there.
We'll get to Tepper.
We have a roster that lacks talent. Offensive line that has struggled in pass protection, basically since Cam Newton got his shoulder blown out that game against T.J. Watt in the Steelers. it's just not great. The defense has been, consistent, but when you're not scoring points, it's hard to be a, formidable opponent every week. When you're going out there and your offense, it's a better chance your offense doesn't score a touchdown than you guys scoring 20 points. Like
Flashbacks, yeah.
That's unfortunate, but that's where the Panthers are right now, and I hate to see it. It does make Sundays a little bit, I don't even know what the proper adjective is for that. The feelings that I have.
It's a chore.
It is a chore. It's like I'm going. It's like I'm going to work. It's not like I'm going and because I'm super fortunate and super blessed to have the opportunity to be in the building at these games and to cover these teams and to talk to the guys and all of the above, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just like you. And so when it's not enjoyable to go do that. It makes me feel so not unfortunate, ungrateful. Like I feel ungrateful. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's a lot of people that really don't like their job and they just do it to pay their bills. But I happen to be able to be in a position where I love what I do. And for that to be one of the best parts of what's supposed to be a highlight to not really be that's kind of unfortunate.
Do you think that I haven't really seen it through the TV, but do you feel like players have checked out? I mean, it'd be natural at this point if they have. There have been spurts. It looks like they've been.
I think the guys. I mean, from what they let us see and what we hear, I think the guys have done a good job. Staying professional and realizing that this year isn't just a wash. The only person that's really seemed to be very and I wouldn't even say disconnected. He's just disappointed. He's Shaq Thompson. Just to listen to him.
He had a rough year, just not being able to play.
Not even really being able to play. And how important this year is to him. In his career, because he's been in the league a couple years now at this point, so it's
and he took kind of a shorter deal, less money to come back and play, and then breaks his leg first game of the year.
Exactly.
Man, it's just a comedy.
So he's the only person that I really kind of feel like he has a little bit of I wouldn't say venom, but he has a little bit of animosity in him right now, just because of the situation and how everything is unfolding. And he's just sitting on the sidelines I can't even put any numbers on the board to get paid.
Yeah.
And to, show people that, what I'm saying?
This is the thing I'm worried about the most. Because Shaq really is the last remnant of great Panther team. Like the 2015 Panther team. Exactly. I think he was a rookie on that team. He's one of the last ones that actually understand what keep pounding means and the legacy and all that stuff. Because I know people joke with me all the time, oh, you never won a Super Bowl and all that stuff. That's true, but they've been around 27
years. They won a lot
of
of games, man.
They won games. There was a point when they were nationally relevant with Cam Newton here, and it was fun to cover them, and that we're so far away from that now. Where now the Panthers are literally the laughing stock of the NFL. And I said on Believe in Panthers this week, I told them, this is the first week in my fandom of the Carolina Panthers where I did not feel like wearing a Carolina Panthers hoodie this week. Just genuinely.
That's a low point.
Yeah, it really is. And not just for the way they played on field, because they played horribly on Sunday. That was probably the worst game they played.
Especially after how they looked against Green Bay.
That's what I'm saying. In the rain.
That was the worst part about it. I was like, what is really going on?
I don't know. It's almost like, well, you know what it really was? And thinking back on the offseason, how I was raving about this Avengers coaching unit, which sounds comical now in hindsight and everything else. I think it was too many cooks.
They're all unemployed.
Yeah, they're all unemployed now. It's almost like it was too many cooks in the kitchen, the way it sounds. And then
we know who the master chef is the issue.
Yeah, well, see, I don't know if Tepper's actually a chef or he's just the super.
He's a guy with a lot of money. He said, I bought a restaurant. I'm going to be the chef. I cook at home.
Yeah, I cook at home. Y'all go eat this too. Oh, you don't like it? That's fine. He's still going to eat it. He's one of these dudes. He's starting to show himself. And I know by now everybody's seen this video of David Tepper throwing this water out the window. The NFL fined him $300,000.
You think it was water?
There wasn't a whole lot in that cup. I think it was more backwash than anything else, which is even grosser. In today's world,
gin and tonic backwash.
To me, the two parts of the video,
melted ice cubes.
Yeah, the two parts that got me was his flip. After he threw it, it was like a cup. Like a demonstrative, and then
I did it.
He's like, I did it, and then he gets out the screen, and then it's the demeanor of Scott Fitterer
the whole time.
doesn't move, doesn't look.
Because he already knew. He's seen this before to some
That's what I was
extent.
going to ask you. Do you think this is behavior he's seen before?
Scott Fitterer has seen this before to some extent, and he already knew. He said he about to pour this drink on this dude.
He knew before he threw it. That's why he's just like,
because Tepper probably tapped him and was like, "No, I'm finna throw my drink on him. He got me messed up." You know what I'm saying? Like,
here we go, and then it just went down. It's like, because think about that. Like, say you were Scott Fitterer and you're standing there. Wouldn't your natural inclination be to look at David Tepper as he's throwing it? Like, yo,
yeah, he didn't budge.
He didn't budge. Then look at him just straight ahead. It just, yep. And I'm just like sitting there watching the whole thing. That was my first thought. What you just said. Oh, that's not the first time something crazy like that's happened. He's seen that before. That behavior. That's normal to Scott. You know. And my second thought was, oh, Scott Fitterer's safe. Scott Fitterer ain't getting fired on Monday. Scott Fitterer is his little henchman or whatever. Like if he was getting fired on Monday, we would have seen a different Scott Fitterer in that booth on Sunday. Like, what are you doing?
If I knew I was getting fired on Monday, I'd have walked out.
Yeah, I would just walked out, like, or something, or just anything.
This is so embarrassing, bro. When I saw that, I just couldn't believe it. I wish my boss would.
Right, right. Drinking me. Plus, he lucky too because that could have been the wrong person in Duval County that he threw that on. You know, for where he was in Jacksonville. I mean,
he wouldn't have to worry about firing me. I'd have quit.
Yeah, like yo,
we can work together anymore.
That's insanity. So now I'm like, so how hard do you think it's going to be for them to attract a coach with this now, or do you think by the time they even get to that point, it's going to matter? Because he is still the second richest owner in the league, and
he is.
You know my dream. You know what I want. I wanted it last year. I want Harbaugh. I want him here. I still want him here.
Well, I was about to say Lamar Jackson.
Oh yeah, I wanted him too. Everybody can see why. Lamar Jackson's completing the best 8 months of his life, like right now, between getting the bag.
Yeah, that is a crazy year.
He's gonna probably win MVP.
Yeah, young man's blessed. That's unbelievable.
And I saw he's gonna win MVP without a 1,000-yard rusher or a 1,000-yard receiver, which is crazy. So, and I've got Baltimore.
He's that guy.
Yeah, Baltimore. Hey, Lamar's that dude. And like I said, teams usually have 3-4 year windows, right? Like for them to win championships. I've kind of harped on that. I think we're seeing that fourth year of Kansas City right now, like in terms of them going this way. Buffalo too, a little bit. Ravens are going up. Before I go over to those, I want to stop in college football real quick because I watched both national semifinals.
Yeah, you did say Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. Jim took me to another place. So my dream. My dream is Michigan, Washington, Monday night, national championship. Michigan wins the national title. Jim Harbaugh leaves the next day. Like he's got a contract on the table from Michigan. It's like $120 million over 10 years. He hasn't signed it. He's hired an agent. So I think he's still thinking about coming back to the NFL. And a lot of people forget he was sniffing around the Panthers. The Panthers weren't sniffing around him. He was calling us for some reason.
Man, I think it's. I know what your dream is, but I think your dream may have shattered this weekend. Bro.
I think it did too. I think when he did that cup flip,
I think he scared a lot. I think David Tepper scared a lot of people off this weekend.
Because Ben Johnson was the hot name that everybody was saying.
I don't think anybody in the world is going to want to come here. Now, I mean, somebody's going to take the job.
Somebody's going to take the money. Because even if the track record shows, even if you don't make it through the 4 years, you're getting 4 years of pay. So actually, that's the dream job. Like if you're only going to let me work 12 games, or you're going to still pay me for 65 or whatever. Mm-hmm. All right, fine. I'll come in here and see what we're going to do. But it's almost like Scott Fitterer is GM in name only. But like
that's what it feels like, right?
Every decision he has to take it to Tepper and be like.
But that's the problem because it's the same thing with the coach.
Yes, and I think Frank Wright didn't know that coming in.
Probably
Have you seen the side by side of Frank Wright, like when they announced him being coach and like the day?
I'd imagine he aged like a president.
Dude, he even more like worse. Like he was completely gray. Like he looks disheveled. He's got a gray beard. Like he looks like he went through it in like 3 months. And
I couldn't imagine. That's just so terrible. Like
it's so terrible. And
so terrible.
Yeah, I saw he's selling his house and everything, but
I just feel so bad for all my Panther Nation friends, all my keep pounding family out there.
It's been rough. And you've checked on me every couple of weeks. You'll check in on me on Sunday, be like, yo, you okay? Yeah, you all right? I'm like, man, it's the same game every week. It's the same rock fight every single week. And
4 field goals.
Yeah, 4 field goals. We're gonna lose. We can't score 16 points. The other team scores 20. Game over. Like
game over.
It's so hard.
Right. Only giving up 22, 21, 24. Not really giving up too many points.
Nah, as soon as they cross 18 points, it's a wrap. Like, regardless of what the Panthers
Any
have.
team that crosses 18 is over for you.
Because we just can't do it. Like, I've never seen a team do so much to go get a number one quarterback in their eyes and dismantle the offense to go get them. Like, they literally dismantled the offense.
That was my whole thing.
And
I think the most infuriating thing about this whole Panthers situation is the fact that Brian Burns still doesn't have a contract.
Bro, Tepper hasn't given out a deal to anyone like, but McCaffrey.
If you were going to pay, if you weren't going to pay DJ, cool. You trade him.
Well, DJ already had an extension. Like, DJ got his extension right before.
If you weren't going to pay Brian, exactly. Right. So you say you want to keep Brian, but you don't give him a deal. He does everything right. He holds in. He's at training camp. He does everything that you need him to do.
Yep.
He comes out. He plays. He didn't have a great year this year, but no one on the Panthers team had a great year.
Right.
Except for Derek Brown.
Derek Brown. Yeah.
Derek Brown had an exceptional year.
I still don't know how he didn't get voted into the Pro Bowl as a starter.
No sense, but it's because the team is so bad.
Yeah,
nobody's watching. No one's watching.
They don't believe it. They don't believe it.
So
it must be
they
can't have 99 tackles.
Man.
Like, it's impossible.
It's just so bad. It's so bad. You don't pay Brian Burns, and now what do we do? So now he's gonna walk. I mean, you're gonna tag him, but he's gonna be.
It's not gonna be happy. Yeah,
I would imagine he's gonna hold out for real this time.
See, and
now do you trade him now? It's like, what are we doing?
It never. Whenever you
could have kept DJ Moore, and then at least you would have had somebody. And Thielen, then those are two options that you could have had for your rookie quarterback, even though your line was not that great.
At this point in hindsight, I'd have been fine with them staying at 9, drafting Jalen Carter from Georgia, putting him beside Derek Brown with Brian Burton, like build a defense. Like I'm fine in 16, 14 games if we've got a top 3 defense. And
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if the quarterback I like this year, because I know you were saying if you stay at 9, you draft.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter, you put him next to Derek Brown. That means you're still looking for a quarterback this year.
But I'm assuming they would have signed Andy Dalton, so that would have
been right. You got Andy Dalton, but still, he's not your long-term solution. So you're still looking for a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah,
exactly. You're looking for a quarterback in the first round. Yeah, because you're only going to win 7 games, maybe.
Do you think after covering them this year, we're supposed to sports buffet. We're just going to stay in the Panthers here. Okay. Do you think, as an outsider looking in, but someone that covers the team, do you think they made the right choice for Bryce? Or do you think there was another quarterback they should have got instead?
I mean, looking at the year, of course, you're going to say it looks like they should have took CJ, but I still think Bryce is a great quarterback.
Yeah.
He can be a great quarterback. But he came in with so much confidence from what I saw at rookie minicamp, and then the confidence has just been diminished because the product has been so bad and he's getting beat up and there's no receivers and no one's open except for Thielen. You got to force feed him the ball. You got to make a great throw to get him the ball because the scheme's not there.
Yeah.
And then the guys aren't there that you need to be successful. The line is porous. So it's like
it's the same line. It's the same line.
It's so bad. It's so bad. I'm sorry.
It's like everything had to.
And now, like, you can't even fix it this year. Like, you have those. Because how many picks do the Panthers have this year? I know you know.
I think they got
maybe
6.
3.
They have 6. But nothing in the first.
They got second round this year. Okay,
yeah, they have a second round this year.
They got the first pick of the second round.
Yeah, they gave the Bears the second round pick next year in that deal. So they do have. It'll be like the 33rd pick or whatever, unless Fitter trades it or something. Nothing in the first. It's a heavy wide receiver draft, so it may not hurt that they don't have a first.
Yeah,
they had a first.
You could take I guess you take a first a wide receiver like
somebody
the best available in the first pick of the second round.
Now,
I really think they need another tackle.
Oh, I didn't even got the Icky.
Because I mean, maybe we can move Iggy to the right side and then you got to get a lefty. You got to get a
Braden Christensen was like the highest rated left tackle coming out of college, but for whatever reason, Matt Rule thought his arms were too short, so he didn't want to put him at left tackle. They put him at left guard, and then he got hurt first game of the year, so he's missed the whole season. So I think a lot of the fans are thinking you move Icky inside the left tackle or left guard and put Christensen at left tackle. That might fix some of it. Or just having Christensen beside him, because he had Christensen beside him last year and he played a little better because I think he was getting more help. When you're talking about scheme, It almost looked like Frank Wright didn't do the right
the
scheme.
scheme that Matt Rule ran last year was a little bit more similar to what NC State was running, so he's probably a little bit more.
Yeah, or even when Steve Wilkes took over and they started running downhill, that was
Yeah.
more Icky's game as opposed to the spread offense. But they just, this is week 18 we're about to go into. Week 16, I believe, me and my guys realized they were finally running plays where they were scheming guys open. Now you see Adam Thielen starting out and he's coming across, Bryce's vision. Oh, and all of a sudden he's wide open.
Wide open.
Oh, look at that. You can scheme him out open. So I mean,
I like DJ Chark too, though. I'm not gonna lie, I like DJ Chark, but it's just like
he's like a 3 or like a 4. You know what I mean?
He's
like
a 3. He's definitely a 3.
Strong. Yeah, he's a good, solid 3. I want them to go after T. Higgins, like from Cincinnati. He's gonna be a free agent. He went to Clemson. It makes sense.
I like it.
Young age, matching with Bryce, and then you still got they're gonna have like $50 million in cap room or whatever, even after they extend Burns, and they better extend Frankie Louvu or they're gonna burn Bank of America Stadium down. Like Louvu has become like a state treasure. Like, don't let him go. Like,
have to. Yes, I mean he's really like I would say he's the only guy you can really, and I really hate to say it like this, but just the way the season has gone, he was the only guy that you look back at and say he really brought it every week.
Yeah,
he brought it every week.
Through injury, through everything. I mean,
and Derrick Brown, of course, Derrick Brown.
And Derrick Brown turned into a man this year.
He was
like
balling, man.
Ragdolling people. So I mean, so they don't have a first round pick. We won't really be able to fully evaluate Bryce Young until probably 2025. To be honest.
I'm about to say you're right on it, Des.
I mean, because it's gonna be the same situation where
next year it's not gonna be any better.
Yeah, they got some money.
You're not gonna get. You might not get a. I mean, you're gonna get some free agents. You're gonna get some free agents, but you're not gonna get a free agent that's gonna be.
Let's see, and even
game changer that's coming in.
The free agents that came in this past offseason, most of them came in because of their relationship with Frank Wright. Like they came in through that. Like, so I'm kind of like, okay, so who? Let's say you do luck out and Jim Harbaugh decides to come here and you pay him $15 million a year or whatever nonsense, and you give him some front office responsibility, which is why he left 49ers in the first place. All that would be fine because that takes Tepper kind of out of it a little bit.
You think Fitterer is just going to be like, okay?
I don't know. I think he needs to be. I mean, maybe the cup thing was his sign to be like, you know what? Maybe I'm doing a little too much. But on the other hand, though, we've talked about this. I've never been somebody to be like someone who owns a small business. I've never been the one to be like to tell a man what to do with his business. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like I don't feel right saying David Tepper is doing too much with his business. It's his business. He can do whatever he wants. If he wants to stand out there for practice every day, hey man, you own the Panthers. You go out there and do it. You did it, brother. You paid it. So I can't be mad at him for being involved. And he definitely wants to win. That's for sure. But
I mean, he's already tried the involved route. I think maybe he tried the step back route and see what happens. Maybe trust my guy's route and then go from there. Because what you've done so far has been, I mean, since he purchased the Panthers, it's been downhill.
Worst record in the league since 2018. Since that hit on Cam Newton, they've had the worst record in the NFL. Yeah. They have not had a winning season in 6 seasons since he's owned the team. And to make it worse, he bought the team for $2.5 billion in 2018. The team is now worth 6.2. So with all that,
he's not going anywhere.
No, I ain't going nowhere. I keep seeing all these. He should sell the team. I'm like, are you crazy? Like he don't have to even. He can keep meddling, and it's going to be worth $10 billion.
He'll have to be voted out before he sells the team.
And they've never voted an NFL owner out. I was looking it up the other day. Like an NFL owner has never been voted out. Even Daniel Snyder, he was never voted out. He just eventually sold the Commanders because he was tired of dealing with it.
He was just whatever.
So, and he hasn't. And Tepper hasn't even done anything close to what Snyder did.
No, at all. That's the thing. Like he's nowhere close to that, and they didn't even fire him, or they didn't even get him out. They
were just like, well,
he's sold. I mean, they made him do it. They probably voted to get him out, but they just never publicized it.
You remember he had the thing where he put out that tweet that he had some dirt like on owners or whatever, and it just kind of went away. And then like he sold it like a month later. So I completely left out all this other stuff because we just went through Panther stuff. And it's Jim Zokey. That's what I have. Jim Zokey's coming up a little bit later. So it's going to be even more Panther talk here in a little bit. But I got to let Jaelen go. I'll especially now with NBA on and everything else. I keep missing Brandon because he started working again. I know you guys are doing that Duke podcast also. Yeah. So now as ACC basketball is going
Duke's on. Duke's in the gridiron, baby.
Yeah, I'll start bringing you both on. We'll start talking because I don't have to duck and hide anymore about my Tar Heels. I think they're back. I think they're actually.
That's really what I wanted to talk about because you always say I'm a Tar Heel hater. You think I'm yeah?
Who do you like in college basketball? Who's your team?
I'm really neutral. I don't have a college basketball.
Oh,
team.
okay.
Like
Nah, you're a Panther hater, but I never thought you were a Tar Heel hater. And I don't even think you're a Panther hater. You just kind of from afar. You're just like, ugh. Like good luck, fellas.
Good luck, fellas.
See what y'all do with that. And like, I was so happy last offseason that Matt Rule was gone.
That was the thing, Des, and I was really trying to prevent you from feeling like this. I'm like, dog, you're really believing. But see, check this out, right? Because since we haven't talked all season online, I know you got to go.
Yeah.
You hired a guy who got fired 2 months before you hired him.
I know. You know what it was? It was his Charlotte connection. Because that was why I like Steve Wilkes, and like he had the same story. So I'm like, oh well.
Hey, how many bottles of champagne you think Steve Wilkes popped?
Boy, Steve Wilkes dodged a bullet. I wonder if Steve was even gonna take the job if offered, because he probably saw all this nonsense too. Like that's the thing. I'm waiting for 10, 15 years from now for the movie to come out, and we can see all this stuff like behind the scenes. Kevin Costner is Frank Wright, like. David Tepper flipping tables all over the place in the office. Like, I'm ready to see this. So I got to get you out of here. Coming up next in just a bit, we'll have Jim Szoke on. We'll continue this conversation with the Panthers. Head coaching candidates. How much did it really affect the head coaching search from David Tepper's actions on Sunday? And who would he like to see come in here and try to clean this up? This is going to be like a 3-4-year project, like for real. Like I'm seriously sitting here considering Cam Newton for team president. He's been campaigning.
One thing, right? One thing is positive. You already lost your hair, so it can't stress you out that much.
That's true. That's true. Like it would have, if I hadn't lost it, it would have been all gone this year for sure. Like week 5.
You would have been done. You would have been done.
Out like, oh my God, what are y'all doing? Score more than 10 points, please. So we'll be back in just a bit. You're listening to Franchise Players here on TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com.